Okay, good evening, guys. How are you doing today? Good evening, online. Good evening. Okay, so hope everyone are doing good. So let's jump on. What did we discuss in our last class? Okay, okay. Quick shootout. Ready? Online, ready? Okay, so what is the full form of IAM? Identity and Access Management. IAM is global or regional? Global. IAM is free or billable? It's free. There are mainly two types of users. What are those? Root user, IAM user. Root user and IAM user. Who has full permissions? Root user. Who has limited permissions? IAM user. And if you are logging in with email ID and password, what type of user is that? Root user. If you are logging in with username and password, what is that? IAM user. Very good. Can we say with IAM, we can control the entire AWS resources centrally? Agree? Okay. And is it recommended to share your root account credentials to others? So if someone asks that, please share your root account, what would you do? Create a IAM user and share it. So is it possible to share a root account? Yes, possible by creating the IAM user. So for your daily activities and work, which type of user is recommended to use? IAM user. Is it recommended to use root user? No. Okay. And how do you secure your account? By setting up eh? Full form. Multi-factor authentication. What is that? Multi-factor authentication. What is the application that we should be installing in our phone? Google Authenticator. So every individual IAM user will have the MFA setup? Yes. And root user also need to have MFA or not? Root user and IAM user need to have the MFA configured. Okay. So mainly, how many ways that you can access AWS? Two ways. What are those? Console access and then programmatical access. How do you log into the console access? Using email ID and password, username and password. And how are you logging? Can you give me an example of programmatical access? CLI, which very good. So how do you authenticate to CLI? Using keys. What keys? Access keys and secret key. Would you share these access keys and secret key to others? So every individual person will have the access keys and secret keys? Yes. But would you recommend to create it unnecessarily? No. Based on the requirement, you create it. Okay. And how many maximum set of keys that you can have per user? Maximum two set of keys. How many set of keys? Two set of keys. Okay. Mm. Sit, bro. Okay. And okay, console and then programmatic access, they both has a similar permissions or different permissions? Similar permissions. So would you recommend to create and use keys of root account? No. Okay. Then we discuss about the groups. What is a group? IAM group. Collection of IAM users. Collection of IAM users is called a group. So one user can be in multiple groups at the same time? Yes. And maximum how many policies you can set up? Maximum 10. Good. Okay. So mainly policies are written in which format? Jejamma. JSON. Which one? JSON. Whose son? JSON. Okay. JSON format. And the policies are how many types? Two types. What are those? Managed policy, inline policy. What is managed policy? Created and managed by AWS. So we have the predefined policies. And what are inline policy? Created and managed by customer. Or in other words, we can call it as customer managed policy. Okay. Do we need to learn separately JSON? We have the tool, right? What is the tool name? Which one? Visual editor. Which one? Visual editor. Nice. And what is the full form of ARN? A number. Who is number? Pakado usko. Right? So Amazon resource name. You do not get confused. Number meaning slap. Remember. Good. So good. Everyone remember the same. Okay, so this is what we have discussed in our last class. So let's move on to today's beautiful topic. Okay. Online, can you please confirm? Can you see my screen and can you hear me well? And by the way, what is the software that we need to install, in programmatic access? AWS CLI. Very good. AWS CLI. Fantastic. Okay. So today's topic here is IAM roles. What is it, Nana? IAM roles. It's a very important topic. Online, please try to concentrate. Okay. Okay, now. Fine. So, generally, is it possible to access AWS without credentials? Not possible, no. Without credentials, can you access AWS? No, if you need programmatically, you need keys. If you need console, meaning you need to have username and password or email and password. So without credentials, can you access AWS services? Can you access S3? Can you access EC2? No. Okay. So I'm giving one real-time example. Please try to understand. So this is the EC2 instance. Nana, try to understand. This is the EC2 instance. So this is the Linux EC2 instance. Which type? Linux. So as it is Linux, how do you access AWS services from Linux machine? CLI. Fantastic. What is that? CLI. So what we need to install here? AWS CLI need to be installed. Very good. So what you did here is you installed AWS CLI. Because that is a Linux box, no? Can you open browser in the Linux machine? No. For that reason, if you need to access AWS services, so what is the software that you need to install? AWS CLI you have installed. Now you just install. How do you authenticate? Using keys. So that meaning we need to configure the keys here. We need to configure the keys. Once I configure the keys, from here, can I access AWS services? Yes, through commands I can access. For example, what kind of service I want to access? Let's say S3. Can I access S3 from this machine now? Yes. So this is a Linux machine. and I have installed AWS CLI software inside it, and I configured the keys for it, authenticated. So now I can use the commands to access S3, to create buckets, and to access buckets, everything I can do. Yes or no? Hmm. So now problem here is you have configured the keys on the machine, and the keys are stored locally on the machine. Is that good? Keys are stored locally onto the machine, Linux machine, EC2 instance. Is that good? If someone has logged into that machine, they can easily see your keys. They can easily see your keys. So if they see the keys, what they do? They will steal your keys and they will use the keys behalf of you. Is that good? So would you configure the keys here? Will you configure the keys here? Answer is no. Okay. So now you have not configured, you don't want to configure the keys, but if you don't want to configure the keys, can you access AWS services like S3? No. You see this here. If you configure, the keys are stored locally. Is not safe. If you don't configure, you cannot access AWS services. You understand the problem statement now? Okay. So by the way, if you want to connect to the EC2 instance, what are the things is necessary, Nana? You need to have instance, IP address you need to have. You need to have instance, username should have, an instance, password you need to have. Is it possible to log into the EC2 instance with IAM username and password? What is your answer? Yes or no? Will you able to log into the EC2 instance with IAM username and password? Answer is big no. Because I told you yesterday, IAM username and password is to log into the console, AWS console. That is just to access AWS services. That's it. EC2 instance is a machine. It has its separate username and password. So will you use IAM user to log into the EC2 instance? No. So for that reason, I'll write it here for you clearly. IAM user is used to log in or access AWS console, not servers or EC2 instances. So I'm putting the problem here. If you don't configure the keys on Linux machine, on Linux EC2 instance, can you access S3? You cannot access AWS services. But if you configure, what will happen? If you configure keys on the Linux EC2 instance, what will happen? Keys are stored locally on the instance, which is not safe. It is not safe. Anyone can hack it. Do you understand the problem? If you configure the keys, someone will steal. That means they will hack it. If you don't configure, you cannot access AWS services. So for this, to solve this problem, AWS came up with a concept called IAM roles. What is that? IAM role. So Nana, what is a role? Here in IAM role meaning, it's a temporary access without credentials. Temporary access without credentials. Is it possible to access AWS services without credentials? No, but now it is possible to access AWS without credentials. How? I'll show you. See here, what you need to do is, Nana, here, you need to create a IAM role. What you need to create? IAM role. Let's say, for example, the role name is Ankit role. Ankit role. I created a role called Ankit role because Ankit want to log into the machine. So now, what kind of services that Ankit want to access from the machine? Louder. S3, correct? What kind of services that you want to access from the machine? It can be S3 also, it can be some other services. I'm giving an example as S3. So I created a role called Ankit role. And what kind of permissions that you need to give to Ankit? Ankit role? S3 policy you need to attach. You need to give S3 policy to the role. And this role needs to be attached to the EC2 instance. What we need to attach? The role need to be attached to the EC2 instance. What we need to? Role need to be attached to the EC2 instance. Create a role and then attach to EC2 instance. What we do? Create a role attached to EC2 instance. And for the role, what kind of permissions we have assigned? S3 permission. Let's say Ankit says, sir, I want to access RDS also. So what will you do? S3 comma RDS. So whatever the services that you want to access, those kind of policies you can attach to the role. And that role need to be attached to EC2 instance. Attach role to EC2 instance. So Nana, see here, once the role is attached to the EC2 instance, once the role is attached to the EC2 instance, you no need to configure the keys. Without keys, person can access S3 services because the role is attached to the EC2 instance. What kind of permissions you have attached here? S3. So what kind of permissions that you have attached to the role, those kind of services you can access from that machine without configuring the keys. Now tell me, did we configure the keys on the machine now? But still the user is able to access S3. That meaning you can access AWS services with credentials or without credentials now? Without credentials. If you want to access AWS without credentials, what is the concept that you should use? IAM role. You got the concept? You got the concept? So if someone, if some AWS services need to do the work behalf of us, who is that? Role. Who is that? Role. And you understood? So I don't want to configure the keys, but still I want to access AWS services. What you need to attach? Role you need to attach. So for the role, what kind of permissions that you need? Use assign the permission to the role. Clear? Create a role and what you need to do? Attach to the EC2 instance. Not only EC2 instance, it can be any AWS service. Example I have taken as a EC2 instance. Is it clear now, everyone? So if someone asks you what is a role, what do you say? Temporary access without credentials. Say that. What is a role? Temporary access with. Say louder, no? Temporary access without credentials. See, that Josh is good. So temporary access without credentials. Online, what is a role? Put it. Very good, Syed. Other also, everyone has to be very active. Temporary access without credentials. Let's say, for example, Ankit has logged into that machine and we don't want to give access. What we do? We have attached the role. No, what we do? We detach the role. If you detach the role, what will happen? Does the machine has access to the S3? No. That's why we call it as temporary. How many days you want, you can keep it, no problem. But anytime you can go and detach it. Attach, detach. Clear? Super. Yes, that is the concept, Nitish. So without credentials in that machine, we have used the role concept to get authenticated from the backend, Nitish. Okay, I'll give you one more example, Anna, real-time example. See. This is a EC2 instance. In this EC2 instance, I have my application. Let's say that application is, it can be a Java application or Python, etc. Any kind of application. Okay. Now tell me, through Java also can we access AWS services? We learned, right? Programmatical access. Through Java also we can access AWS services. Now tell me, now we have the Java application and Java application need to access S3. Java application need to access S3. This Java need to access S3. Not only S3, any service. I'm giving an example as S3. Now tell me, Java needs to access S3. That meaning, do you create a IAM user called Java? No, right? So how do you call? So through programmatically, what we do is we put the keys inside it. Is it recommended to put the keys in your code? Tell me. It's not recommended to keep the keys on your code because the keys will be easily visible to the other users and he can misuse it. So without keys, you need to give Java S3 access. So what you need to create here? Roles you need to create. So create a role. And what kind of permissions you need to give to the role? S3. And this role need to be attached to EC2 instance. Once you attach the role to the EC2 instance, from the EC2 instance, it will get access to S3. Understood now? So if some AWS services will need to perform actions on your behalf, then we need to use role. So based on the permissions that you have given to the role, those kind of services can be accessed from the machine. Yes or no? I'm repeating. Based on the permissions that you have given to the role, those services you can access from the machine. Yes or no? Answer is yes. And how many roles you can attach to one single EC2 instance? Only one role. But the role has multiple permissions. From this EC2 instance, I want to access S3. Yes. Assign S3 permissions. From this EC2 instance, I want to access like RDS or Route 50, anything. So everything, can you attach multiple permissions to the role? Yes. Clear, Nana? Is it clear? If you use the roles, we no need to configure keys. We no need to configure the keys on the machine. How come hacker will know the username and password of our EC2 instance? Nitish. Yes. Praveen, I already said this. Guys, roles will be attached only to EC2 instance or any AWS services? Any AWS services. Praveen, that's for you. Sir, we attach role to user or service. We attach role to the user also, service also. But I'll tell you we'll get the topic for the user. But at the moment, we have attached the role to the AWS service called EC2. Based on the permissions that you have attached to the role, those permissions are available from the instance. Yes, Margaret, that's correct. Okay. One EC2 instance can have how many roles attached? Only one. One EC2 instance can have only one role attached at the same time. And one role can be attached to multiple EC2 instances? Yes. One role can be attached to multiple EC2 instances at the same. Nana, is this clear till here, everyone, on the roles? Right? So if any work has to be done behalf of us without the credentials, we need to use the concept of roles. Okay, I am roles. Online, is this clear? CC, please. Nice. Okay. So there is another very important topic, which is called here identity provider, or we call it as identity federation or identity center. Say that, Nana. Identity provider or identity federation or identity center. So what is this identity provider, identity federation, identity center? Everything is related to a concept called SSO. What is that? Have you heard about SSO? No? Single sign-on. What is that? Single sign-on. As the name clearly says, how many times you have signed on? Single sign-on. So you said you don't know SSO, but you have used many times. Should I tell you that? Okay, you are on the internet. In internet, you have opened some site. In that site, it will ask, log in with Google account, log in with Yahoo account, log in with Facebook account, log in with the LinkedIn account. Have you seen that? Do you need to sign up, or you can log in with the Google account? Do you need to sign up? Not required. Do you need to create user in the new website? No. With your Google account only, you can log into multiple websites. What is that? That is called SSO. What is that called? So you have signed into the Google only one time. And with that sign in, you can log into multiple websites. That is called SSO. Now you know SSO? Have you used multiple times? Because we are lazy, what we do, we cannot sign up to the every website. No, what we do, log in with the Google. Automatically with their Google account, you will get access to that website. That is called SSO. What is that called? I'll give one example now. So, no, this is advanced concept actually. Please try to concentrate. Assume this is your company. This is your company. Whenever you join the company, what they will give to you first? Laptop, ID card. Huh? Mano is saying kit. They'll give login credentials or not? Email ID and password. We need to concentrate on that, not ID card, shoes, belt, right? So here we have the credentials, username and password, or email ID and password they will give. Okay. Now tell me, which company? Boom company. Which company? Boom. Which is our company? Boom company only, no? Okay, so we are all working in the Boom company. And who is the head of Boom company? That one is clear. Okay, so I think I should start that Boom company. So now, let's say, for example, you are all joining to this company. In this Boom company, when you join to any company, in that company you have so many laptops, workstations will be there, no? Servers will be there, laptops will be there, desktops will be there. There are so many servers, laptops will be there. Okay, good. Okay, fine. So now you join the company, you got the credentials, email ID and password, or username and password. And you join the company and you join the AWS project. Which project? AWS project. Can you tell me, Nana, with your company credentials, can you log into AWS? Tell me. Generally, with your company credentials, can you log into AWS account? No. In AWS, what needs to be created? IAM users need to be created with your name. Yes or no? I have my AWS account. Company has an AWS account. And what I need to do, I need to create IAM users for everyone. So how many accounts that you have now at the moment? 2 accounts. One is company account. Another one is AWS account. Yes or no? Yes or no? So how many accounts that you have now? How many credentials you have? 2 credentials. And I have another AWS root, another account, which is production account. Another production account. There also I need to create IAM users or not? Because there are different root accounts. There also I need to create an IAM user. How many credentials are there? So how many accounts are there? Those many credentials we need to give. So is it very hard to remember all these credentials or not? For that reason, how it would be if I say, hey Babu, with your company credentials only log into AWS directly. No need to create IAM user. No need to create IAM user. With only single login of your company account, you can log into AWS. What is that setup called? SSO. What is the setup called? SSO. So now, so when anyone say what is identity provider, identity federation, identity center, it is related to SSO. What is SSO? Single sign on. So you have your company email ID and password. And then generally we should have AWS credentials. then only you will log into AWS. But if you don't want credentials and you want to directly log in from company to AWS, what we need to set up, Nana? What we need to set up? SSO we need to set up. What we need to set up? SSO. Do we need to create IAM users in here? No. No need to create IAM user. So directly with your company account, you can log into the AWS. So your company needs to be federated to the AWS. What is the word that I'm using here? Federated. Your company needs to be federated to the AWS. Then only your company email ID and password can be logged into the AWS account. First, the connection has to be established. No. All of a sudden, you go to AWS and say, hey, I am from Boom Company. Hey, who is Boom Company? What is company? What company is that? Nasty company. So once I did the federation, then AWS will understand you are from Boom Company. So first what we need to do? We need to do the federation. Once you do the federation, then with your email ID and password, with your Boom Company email ID and password, you can log into AWS accounts using a setup of SSO. Clear? Okay, see here. Question here is, sir, company email ID and password is root user or IAM user? Come on. Huh? So here, did you create an IAM user? No, that is not either root user, that is not a IAM user. That is a federated user. What is that? Federated user. What user is that? Federated user. Did we create an IAM user? So as we are not creating IAM user and root user, impossible. We cannot log in with the root account. So what user is this? Federated user. What user? Okay, see here. Chitty, this is a company. In this company, I have so many desktops. What I have? Desktops. So many desktops I have. How can we assign policies if it is not an IAM user? Hold on. Topic is not completed yet. So Nana, we have these desktops. Listen this carefully. I'm giving you one scenario here. Now, Ankit came. Ankit came and he wanted to log into the first desktop. He wanted to log into the first desktop. That meaning Ankit username should be created here in this desktop or not? Yes or no? Then only he can log in, no? Okay. Now another person who wait, Darren. So Darren is there. So Darren also came. If Darren also wants to log into the first desktop, Darren account needs to be created here or not? So Nana, 50 users came. That meaning would you create 50 users here? Okay, you said yes. Now the same 50 users, they want to log into the second desktop. That meaning here also you create 50 users. Here also 50 users. Here also 50 users. Here also 50 users. That meaning we have only few desktops here, but each and every desktop you are creating a local users. What is that? Local user. Is it recommended to create a local users? Pusuk, someone 100 people came. Will you keep on sitting? Will you sit and keep on creating users, local users in each and every desktop? Is it good to create a local user? Tell me, is it good to create a local user? No. We should not create a local users in all these machines. So we need to create a user somewhere centrally only once. Yes or no? See here, for this, what we need to do is we have a centralized location. So this is called domain controller. What is that? What is the domain that we have? Boom.com. That is a domain. So this is called domain controller and it has a software called Active Directory. What is it, Nana? Very, very, very important topic. Actually, Active Directory, it's a ocean. It's a big topic. We are not going into that because it is related to Microsoft, MCSE, micro Windows administrators. So in this Active Directory, what we do is we will create the users here centrally. We'll create the user1 @ boom.com. Like this. User2, user3. No. Like this, we create the users here. What users we call this? These users, we call it as domain users. What users? What users? Domain users. Now what I do is, here, I'll add all these desktops to this domain. What I am doing? Add all this or join all these desktops to this domain. What is the word I'm using? Join. What is that? I'll join all these desktops to this domain. Say that. We join all these desktops to this domain. Once we join to this domain, now tell me, user1 came to the first desktop. Can he log into the first desktop? Yes, because whenever he logged in with username, user1 and password, the request will go to the domain and ask, hey, domain, user1 has logged in. User1 is the right username and password is correct. And this domain controller will say, yes, then only you can log into the desktop. Otherwise, no. Because these desktops are joined to this domain. So with that user1, can he log into the second desktop? Third, fourth, fifth, whichever the servers which are joined to this domain, in that servers, any domain user can log in. So how many users we have? How many times we have created the user? Only one time. So, but hundreds, thousands of servers the user can log in. Using what concept here? Active Directory. What concept is that? Understood? So instead of using local users, we use a centralized directory, which is called Active Directory. This is what in real time the company has generally. So every company will have the domain. Every company will have the domain controller. Let's say those who are real time, or those are working in the real time. No. When you're logging to your laptops, what do you have? Username, password, and the bottom, what you have? Domain you have. Username, password, and then domain. So the domain is nothing but here, Active Directory. So whatever the username and password that you're putting, and if you hit enter, that username and password will go and verified in the domain controller. Once that is correct, then you can log into the machine. And all this, it is using a protocol called LDAP. What is that? What's the protocol it is using? LDAP, lightweight directory active protocol. No need to worry on it. But Active Directory is using what protocol? LDAP. Say that. If any question, no one will ask generally, but it's an additional topic. So Active Directory uses what protocol? LDAP protocol. LDAP is equal to Active Directory. Active Directory is equal to LDAP. You're getting it? Little bit deeper topic. Okay. This Active Directory in AWS, we call it as directory services. What is that? In AWS also, we have Active Directory concept. What service is that? Directory services. What services? So what we have discussed now is, I'm recapping. See, forget about SSO. I'm talking about how the company user management will happen. In the company, we have hundreds of employees will be there and thousands of servers will be there. And each employee will have its own username and password. As he has so many desktops, is it recommended to create all the username and password in desktop? Local users? 10 people can log in, 20 people, 30 people, 40 people. That means you need to keep on creating the local users here. Here also, here also, here also, here also. Like this, how many machines that you have, those many local users, you need to create it. Is that good? Recommended? So instead of that, we will be using what concept here? Active Directory concept. What concept? If you install Active Directory on the server, and that is called domain controller. What is it called? What does domain controller? If you can say that which has Active Directory installed. What is that? Which has Active Directory installed. So all these desktops will be joined to the domain. Join to the domain. So now we created the users here. With that user, he can log into any of the desktop. And what is the protocol that is using? LDAP protocol. How I am relating to AWS now? See, we have 100 EC2 instances. How many? You all need to log into one machine. Do I need to create 100 users in that machine? No. What is the concept that we should use? Active Directory. In AWS also, we need to set up Active Directory. Domain controller. What is that? What is the AWS service that it support domain controller? Directory services. What is that? So in AWS, we need to set up directory services. There you need to create the users. And all EC2 instances need to be joined to that directory. And with that username and password, you can log into any of the EC2 instance. I no need to manage the user separately now. Where I need to manage only in Active Directory. Simple as. Clear now? Super. So this is how in general in company, how it works. Now, this is company Nana. We have the domain user now. Ankit@boom.com. Now with Ankit@boom.com needs to log into AWS. This LDAP and this AWS need to be federated. This LDAP and AWS need to be federated. Once it is federated, then with this company email ID and password, he can log into AWS. As I wanted to tell you what is LDAP, for that reason, I told you all this concept. You understand? So LDAP from company to AWS, first federation need to be happen. LDAP meaning Active Directory only, no? Users will be in Active Directory only, no? That user only, no? You need to log into AWS. So they need to be federated with that company email and password. You can log into the AWS directory. Now, this is the advanced topic that I have shared that we are not be doing it. But what we'll be doing now here is, okay. So by the way, in real time, people use LDAP, or have you heard about Okta? Experienced people? See, experienced people know this. So you're using Okta, or we have using called OAuth. What is that? OAuth. So many of the people in real time, they'll use these concepts where all the users will be created in Okta. With that Okta username and password, they will log into the AWS directly. Nana, can you create users in LDAP? Can you create users in LDAP? Domain users, LDAP. Similarly, Okta also there. Can you create users in Okta? Can you create users in OAuth? With that users, they can directly log into AWS. Understood? This is the advanced topic that I have shared to you. I like to give more topics. Actually, this topic is not there, but I just wanted to give you more. Is this clear? Concept SSO? Okay, now come. In AWS, how we will implement SSO, we'll see. Okay, now this will be very easy. Listen this carefully. First of all, if you want to manage multiple root accounts, which service is that? Which is the service in AWS is used to manage multiple root accounts? Which one? Very good. Which one? Organizations. Which one? Remember in last IM we have discussed organizations concept, correct? If you want to manage multiple root accounts, how we will manage? Using organizations. Okay, see here now. Everyone. Assume that we have multiple AWS accounts. DevOps account. Tell me what accounts are these? Tell me. This is AWS DevOps account. This is AWS. Which account? Huh? Okay. Developer account. Okay. And this is AWS. Huh? Support or testing account. I don't have space. For that reason, I put only 3. Like this, can you have multiple root accounts? If I want to manage all these multiple root accounts, how do I manage? Using what concept? Organizations. All these things should be in under organizations. Okay. Now, tell me, what is the name? Suchi. Yeah. Suchi, she joined our project. She joined the project. Now tell me, I want Suchi to have access to DevOps account, developer account, support account. All 3. All 3 are root accounts or not? Now generally tell me how so generally here, all these are all root account. Root. How many root accounts are there? Suchi is one user. And then we have how many root accounts? And if she want access to all 3 root accounts, how many IAM users we need to create? Generally. How many? If she want to log into the DevOps root account, she need to create one IAM user here. And she need to create one more IAM user here. And she need to create one more IAM user here. How many root accounts? 3 root accounts. How many users? 3 users. So Suchi has how many IAM users now? 3 IAM users. One IAM user is for DevOps account. Another IAM user is for developer account. Another IAM is for support. And if she has one more, another IAM user for testing account. Like this, just I have 4 in real time, you might be 10, 20. That meaning how many credentials? 20 IAM users you need to have. Good? For everything you say, not good. Huh? You need comfortability. Yes, it's not good. She need to have only one account or 20 accounts. With one account, she need to log into 20 accounts. With only one user, she need to log into 20 accounts. What is the concept that we need to implement here? Yes. So now you understood. Now we need to use the concept of SSO. What is this SSO concept in AWS is called Identity Center. What's that? So there is a service called Identity Center. What is that, Nana? So this Identity Center will have access to all these things. These 3. Identity Center has federated to all these accounts using SSO. Okay. Now tell me, where should I create the user? Here. Where in Identity Center, I need to create the user. So I created a user called Suchi here. And this Identity Center will give the URL, common URL. And that URL will be used by Suchi. Now, when I'm creating the user here, I'll give permissions to which root account that she need to have the permission. I have selected 1, 2, all 3. Whenever she log in with the URL, she will get an option. Papa, she want to log in with DevOps, developer, support. Select, and then she will direct into that account. With how many users? Only one user. Now, what is your name, Nana? Prasanna. If Prasanna has logged in here, so I need to create the user here. Prasanna. So here also. And for Prasanna, I want to give access only to DevOps. Can I give? Yeah. Create a user Prasanna in Identity Center and assign which root account? DevOps root account. When Prasanna has logged in, and she will also get an URL, no? When she open this URL, when Prasanna, when she open the URL, she'll get access only to DevOps. If someone, Ankit came, and Ankit, I want to give permissions to only DevOps and developer. Can I give? Yeah. How many users? Now, each and individual person will have how many users? Only one user. And with one user, they can log into the multiple AWS account. And how are we managing multiple AWS account? Using organizations. So this SSO is the integration of organizations, Identity Center, SSO. Everything is in one shot. So just imagine. So this is the thing that how we are using in our real time. So now I'm the manager, Nana. I'm the manager. I have so many AWS accounts. Is it good to manage only one root account? No, I have multiple root accounts and I have one main account. What is that account called? Management account. Remember? And the rest are all member account. Remember that. So I am the head for this. I'm maintaining the management account and all the member accounts will be under my organization. And I use my identity center and there I created the user and assigned the permissions to all the root accounts. This is how we manage in real time. Here, Sri Reddy is asking, Sri Krishna, Suchi, Prasanna are IAM user only. Is it IAM user? No, it is identity center user or federated user. There is no concept of IAM user. That is the problem. No, if you will you create IAM user here, here, and here, Suchi will have 3 IAM users, which is good. Not good. Is it clear? Everyone? Online is this clear? No, everyone clear? Offline too? SSO concept? So what is SSO? Single sign on. Any questions? Anything that you want me to repeat? So forget about this L, but remember here, the bottom, this one is important here. Identity center concept is important. Okay, na? Super. So now we have a concept called here IAM tags. What is it, Nana? Very good. Tags. Tag, let me give a real personal example. Huh? Okay. Babu, you. All Babus, everyone. Okay, let's say, for example, you and your baby. Huh? Yeah. You and your baby, go there, you both are walking in the shopping mall. All of a sudden, your baby saw a nice dress or jeans. What she saw? Nice jean. What she'll say? Hey, I want that jeans. Tell me, what will you do first? Run there and then start checking the tag. What is there in the tag? Price. The first thing what we check is price. So what does the tag contain? Tell me. What only price? Tell me. So price 10,000. Size you only know. We don't know. Next brand. Brand. Armani. No. Levi's. Okay. So basically, etc., etc., etc. Expiry date will be there for jeans. Okay. So tag. What does the tag contain? Information. What does the tag contain? Information. So can we say tags are used for identification purpose? Yes or no? So just imagine you have multiple jeanses, and if the shopkeeper doesn't have the tags, is it easy to manage? No. So for each and every dress or each and every item, they have the tag. What does the tag contain? Information. Understood? So here also, you might be launching multiple EC2 instances. You need to tag it or not? Without tag, can you identify which machine is used by which persons? I created IAM user called Ankit. And will there be only one Ankit in my company? Multiple Ankits. So if I just create a username called Ankit, and later when I'm doing some investigation, there might be multiple Ankits. I don't know which Ankit is for which team, which department, I don't know. But instead of that, I can give a nice tag. Tag is nothing but key and value. What is that? Key and value. Here, brand is key and Levi or Levi's is value. So what is a tag? It's a key value pair. What's the tag? Key value pair. Price is a key. 10K is a value. For similar here, when you go and launch an EC2 instance, when you go and launch an EC2 instance, you need to give the name of the EC2 instance. Correct, Nana? You need to give the name. Name is equal to Linux instance. What is this? This is a tag. This is a tag. And name is what? Name is key. And Linux instance is value. Like this, for one resource, we can give maximum 50 tags. How many? For one resource, we can give 50 tags. Let's say I created an IAM user, Nana. I created an IAM user. I created an IAM user. IAM user called name. Huh? Raja. Tally Raja. Italian. Give us a normal name. Venkat. Venkat. Okay. So I created a username called IAM user called Venkat. And for Venkat, I can give how many tags? 50 tags. Like team is equal to he is admin. Email is equal to something. Phone number is equal to something. Address is equal to something. Like this, how many I can give, Nana? Like this, 50 I can give maximum. Maximum tags, how many? 50 I can give like this. So if someone asks you what is a tag, what do you say? Key value pair. What's that? Say that tags are key value pair. Say that, Nana. What is tag? Tags are key value pair. So what is the purpose of the tag? Identification. Tags are used for what purpose? Identification purpose. And remember, this tag is only for IAM, for the entire AWS. For entire AWS, tags is not specific only to IAM. It is for all AWS services. So tags are not IAM specific. It is throughout the AWS. So do you all agree that tags are very important? Tags are very important, but tags are optional. Tags are optional, but in your real-time in production environment, if you don't manage the tags properly, your life will be like, clumsy. It's very hard without tags to manage your entire infrastructure. Just imagine, say, just you have a shop with so many shirts, jeans, and all, and there is no tags at all. Possible to manage? Yeah. Okay. So let's say I'm giving one example. I have 500 IAM users. How many? I have 500 IAM users. And then let's say Devraj. So I said, hey, Devraj, Dev, in these 500 users, there are so many people will be there. There are from DevOps people is there, admin people is there, security team is there, DB admins are there, etc., etc. So many are there. Now I told to Devraj saying that, hey, Devraj, please go ahead and delete all DB admins, IAM users. Please go and delete all DB admins, IAM user. Tell me how to do. How will you do? A normal scenario. There are 500 IAM users. I told you to go ahead and delete DB admins. How do you filter? No. So what will you do is, you will go one by one. Yes or no? First IAM user, you will take, something will be there. If there is no tag, do you understand? Do you understood this user is related to which team? Do you know that? No, you don't know. And if there is a tag, you need to go to each and individual persons and see the tag. This guy is not from DBA. Next one. This guy is for security. No. Third one. This one DBA. Delete. So he need to, how many IAM users are there? 500 IAM users are there. That meaning he need to go through all 500 IAM users or not? And I call these people as hard-working people. Hard worker. Yes or no? Hard worker, where he will go to each and individual IAM users and see the tag and then delete one by one. It will take a lot of time or not? So here, what he's doing is manually, he will go all 500 users and delete one by one. Hard worker. But there is another guy. Who is that? Smart worker. Smart worker will go to each and individual IAM users. What he'll do? Smart workers. What you guys? You are all smart workers, no? Sir, you call me smart workers, but I don't know what to do. So what you do is, instead of going, you write a small script. What you need to do? Write a small script you need to write. So which is your favorite script? Which one? Python. So Python is a very good, it will gel with AWS a lot. So you write a small Python code saying, I'm saying the logic. Delete all IAM users where key is equal to name, value is equal to DB admins. That's it. So once he write the code like this, automatically everything will get deleted. How much time will it take for this? Seconds. Where are hours? Where are seconds? For that reason, I told you to learn at least one scripting. Which one? Python. So see, without Python also it will work, but it will take a lot of time. So it is always better to have one automation, or for doing automations, it's good to have one scripting language, which I vote for Python. So can we say that, Nana, tags are helpful for doing automations? Yes or no? Yes. Tags are helpful for doing automations in AWS. Okay, let's say for example, Nana, see here, I have 100 EC2 instances. How many? Out of that, 50 are used by the DevOps. And there is a tag for that called name is equal to DevOps. Now, I want at night to stop all these DevOps machines. What will you do? Which is a service in AWS? Which service? Lambda. Very good. In Lambda, what script would you use? Python. Can you write Lambda script Python and then how do you identify this EC2 instance, this machine is DevOps or not? By using tags. By using what? Tags. Every machine will have the tag, no? So write a script and say that where the tag is equal to name is equal to DevOps. So can tags are helpful for doing cost optimization also? So if I stop all 50 DevOps machines, so night unnecessary it is running, I stopped it. Can I save the money or not? Yes. Use with tags. Can you do the cost optimization? Tags are helpful for doing cost optimization. What is it, Nana? Cost optimization. So how many per resource, how many tags you can have? Per resource, how many maximum tags? 50 tags. Is it clear? You're getting it? So what is a tag? Key value pair. Tag is a key value pair. And then here in IAM, we have small concepts, which is called credentials report. What is that? Credential report, access analyzer, and password settings. So credentials report meaning, let's say, for example, your manager asked, Let's say you have 500 IAM users inside it. Your manager asked, hey, Babu, get me the information about all IAM users. When they got created, does they have passwords or not, that they have that or not, they have the keys or not, all the information about each and every IAM user. Is that possible to do it manually? So there is an option called credential report where you just need to click on download. If you click on download, Excel sheet will get downloaded automatically with all information. Throw it on manager face. You understand what is credential report? It is just a report which contain entire information. A report that lists all your accounts, users, and the status of various credentials. And then we have here IAM Access Advisor. What is that? IAM Access Advisor. Access Advisor is very, okay, let's say, for example, I'll take Devraj and Ankit. Devraj and Ankit, they are working in my AWS account. They have the IAM users. I gave some task. I told them to complete by tomorrow. And what these people, to next day, they came to me and said, sir, Devraj said, sir, I completed the work. Very good. Ankit said, sir, I tried a lot, but it didn't work. How do I trust them? What I do is simply, I go to Ankit IAM user. There is a option called Access Advisor. If I click it, I can easily know when he has last used the service. And in that service, it says NA, not available. That means he has not logged in at all. But he said to me, he tried. But in the console, it says not logged in. But for Devraj, it said last night at 11 o'clock, timestamp will be there. So I can easily find out when he has last worked on the services. That is called Access Advisor. When he has access, it will advise for me. It is not a technical thing, but it is just for auditing purpose. So what is this called? Access Advisor. It shows the service permissions, and it also shows what kind of permissions that Ankit has. So it shows the service permissions granted to the user and when those were last used. That is called IAM Access Advisor. And is this clear? So, did we learn about IAM users? Yes or no? Did we learn about IAM groups? Did we learn about IAM policies? Did we learn about IAM roles? Yes or no? And did we learn about federations? Federations, Identity Center, IC. IC meaning Identity Center. And guys, all these things will become IAM service. Congratulations, we are done with IAM. Happy? Right? So we just finished the IAM one service very deeper level without knowing it. Simple as. So do you know what is IAM users? Do you know what are the groups? Do you know what are the policies? Do you know roles that we have discussed today? Federation, Identity Center. And all these are all tags are all simple chumma things. Credentials report, access analyzer, advisor, and all. But I would like to give always extra. You know, right? I would like to give always. Should I give you one extra thing in IAM? Come. Should I? Okay. And I always like to give extra topics for you. But this will be a little bit interesting. Okay. Let's say, for example, This is my account, Nana. Whose account is this? Riya's AWS account. Remember, Nana, every AWS account has account ID. What's that? Account ID. Account ID is 12-digit number. Or how much? 12-digit. You have signed up, everyone have the root account, no? AWS account, right? And every AWS, you also have a account ID. What does that say? Account ID. How many digits? 12 digits. So here also, similarly, I have a AWS account ID. So this is how many digits it is? 12 digits. Is it possible to remember the account ID? 12 digit? It is difficult to remember phone number itself. Would you remember 12 digit account ID? Chitty, when you're logging to the AWS console, it will ask, give me your account ID, username, password. Right? Let's say if I click like this to log in, do you see this here? Account ID, how many digits? 12 digits. Then IAM username, password. So this is how you log in. But you have only the root account, no, till now. So you don't know this. Generally, would you recommend to log in with the root account or IAM account for doing all practicals? IAM account. So from next day onwards, from tomorrow onwards, we'll be logging into the accounts. So here, you need to put the account ID. But do you know the account? Do you remember the account ID? For this, what you can do is you can give alias to your account ID. What is that? Alias. Alias meaning nickname. So you can give a account name or you can call it as alias. Let's say I have given my alias name as Ria Cloud. What is that? Ria is my pet name, not girl name. So instead of remembering 12-digit account number, can I simply remember my alias name? For that reason here, instead of here, what I put? Ria Cloud, I can log in. Yes or no? You understood what is account name or alias? Everyone? Okay. So now, in my account, I'm using my account, simple as that. Now, I need one more person here. Whose account is this? Okay. I'll take Praveen. Praveen's AWS account. No, this is Praveen's AWS account. See, now Praveen said, sir, I want to log into your account. I want to access your account. I want to access your S3. I want to access S3. He don't know what I have saved in, what kind of things I have saved in S3. He don't know, but he want to access what service? S3. In whose account? In my account. Tell me, Praveen want to access my account. What should I do? Create a good. Create IAM user. What is IAM user? Praveen. And what kind of permissions I need to give for him? S3. Good. But Praveen is not in my company. Praveen is not an employee. He's not a company. He is a third party guy. Would you recommend to create IAM users in your account? No. So it's not recommended to create a user here. Then how would he access my AWS account? Using? Fantastic. Using what? How can he access without credentials? What concept is that? IAM roles. Temporary access without credentials. I'm not creating any credentials for him, but he need to access. But what? How do we access? Using roles. So where should I create the role here? In my account. Here I created a IAM role. IAM role is called Praveen role. What role? Okay, while creating a role, what kind of services that you want to access in my account? So what kind of policy I need to give here? S3 policy. And also it will ask, A row, while creating a row, it asks, Babu, which AWS ID I need to give there? Whose ID I need to provide here? Praveen's AWS ID I need to provide here. Getting it? Once I create a role, a URL will be generated. And simply give this URL to Praveen. So Praveen will take this URL. So Praveen will access this URL and log into whose account? Riya's AWS account and access to only S3 service, right? And by default, it is how much duration here? He has access for only how many hours? 1 hour. By default, it is 1 hour. Now tell me, as he's a third party guy, is it recommended to give managed policy or inline policy? Inline. Is it good to give managed? Full access? Complete read-only access? What Praveen exactly need, I'll create a policy based on that. Because I'm giving permissions to my account. So using the URL, he can access. Or in his account, there is a concept called switch role. What is that? Say that word 2 times. Watch one. Switch role. Every account on the top left right corner, there is an option called switch role. So whenever this Praveen clicked on switch role, what will happen is it will ask, Babu, to which account you want to switch? Whose account? My account, no. So what is the account name? Riya Cloud. And what is the role? Role name. Role name. Praveen role. Once he give this information, automatically he will be switched to my account. This concept is called switch role. What is that? Switch role concept. Understood? If you want to give permissions to others also, without creating IAM users, we can give the permissions for limited period by using concept called switch role. Understood? This is an extra topic that I would like to give you. Clear, Anna? Deeper in and out on IAM. IAM is very small Chuma service. Clear? And from tomorrow, what will you do at Republic Day? Morning, you do flag hosting, take some chocolates and come here to evening. Okay? So from tomorrow onwards, we are entering into practicals. Okay? So, okay, Basha Sheikh is saying, I have used this service in my company, switch role. Very good. That meaning, see, Basha Sheikh is an experienced person. He's already working on AWS. And what he said is, he has used this service switch role concept in his company. That meaning, whatever we are learning is a real time or not? There is no other time, only one time, real time. Okay. Nice. Hello. Okay. So, do you all understood, Anna? IAM? Super. Now take the screenshots. Please go through all the topics that we have learned in IAM. From tomorrow, we'll do the practicals. And everyone has the root account? And everyone have the sandbox? No, you haven't got the sandbox yet? So, okay, it's okay. But everyone has the root account, right? Those who have not, please set up your root account. How? Go to Google, just type AWS free sign up. Give your user, give your first name, last name, all the information. As I said, it'll ask for the card details. Provide the card details. Okay. And then keep the account ready. so that we can do the practicals. Without account, you cannot do the practicals. Okay, and the last one. Okay. Any questions? Account is free. AWS account is free. Okay, nice. All right, so can I get the final CC for today, please? Online CC with smile. Take it, Kavya. So don't miss the class tomorrow. How to create account? What is that? Is there, do you need a session on creating the account? Come on. No one teach you how to create a Gmail account, Yahoo account, and different website you have create signed up to different notifications. Huh? So go YouTube. Someone told you to create how to create YouTube account. Huh? Come on. So go here to Google and then just type AWS free account. Just type it here. Just go to the here. Take it and click on create a free account. That's it. Just follow the steps. Just follow the steps. Give your email ID, Google email, Gmail email ID. Give the account name, any name. Click on verify and just continue the process. Is it difficult? It's very easy. Everyone, most of the people has already created. Just go through it. Okay, guys. So that is all for today, and I'll see you tomorrow with the next practicals of this IM. Until then, take care. Bye bye. Have a nice day. See you tomorrow. Good night.